Welcome. So I think that the first thing that I'd love to do is to start by understanding a little bit about your lives, what you do, and e-commerce and of course social are big spaces, right? What I want to make sure is that what I'm talking about is aligned with the value that you want to get today. I don't want to spend, for example, 45 minutes talking about something for you to... What's your name?
Dimitris.
Jim. Dimitris?
Or Jim.
Okay, I'll try. If I forget, I'll call you Jim, but for now, Dimitris.
Okay.
I don't want Dimitris after 20 minutes to think, fuck, what is this guy talking about? It's really all about you today. So if you could, and feel free to just call out some of the things that you're interested in learning within those spaces. How about you, Dimitris? Is there something specific that you want to make sure that I cover today? Because I've got a plan, but I want to hear from you.
No.
No specific.
Nothing. Talk about what you want.
If you want to talk for my job, okay, no problem.
Is there anyone else who has a specific? Yes.
Okay. I have already started working on e-commerce. I have a site, not an e-shop, just a site, but I started uploading my products on eBay and Amazon, and I would really like to start talk about a little bit about that, about eBay and all these platforms.
Perfect. So we've got one point there, excellent point. What about the mammoths, the big players, Amazon, eBay? How can we leverage them to really make the most of the products that you guys have or are thinking about? Okay, perfect. Anyone else have something specific they want to make sure that I cover today? What's your name, sorry?
George.
George?
Yeah.
I can do that, okay.
When we will be back, I create a new shop, with children clothes.
Okay.
And I want something to do, some like a shop.
Okay. So a shop for children's clothes.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And will that shop be selling to people in Greece, or do you want it to be international, or you're not sure?
First in Greece.
Perfect. Okay, perfect. So we've got Amazon and eBay from Spiros.
Yes.
Jim has said, of course, no, you're Dimitris.
George.
George, I'm going to get this. George has spoken about children's clothing. Perfect. Is there anything else that anyone wants to make sure I cover?
My name is Christos.
Christos? Okay.
Chris.
Okay. Chris. George.
About what about drop shipping and arbitrage?
So you're talking Alibaba, AliExpress,
Yes.
buy at a cheaper price,
Yes.
sell retail.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, perfect. Okay, so we've got eBay, Amazon, we've got a children's clothing store, we've got drop shipping and arbitrage. And women's clothes. Okay, perfect. Now, within women's clothes, is it that you would like me to discuss how to, what within that, for example? When you say women's clothes, or anything?
It's for the women age 30 and up.
Okay. Okay.
It has clothes also
Perfect.
for some special occasion, like for some age.
Okay. Amazing.
And
Continue.
we have a Facebook, we have Instagram,
Okay.
and we are thinking also about the e-shop.
Okay, perfect. So you've got a Facebook, you've got an Instagram, women's clothing age 30, you were saying?
Up to 30.
Up to 30, perfect. Okay, and you're thinking about setting up your own online store?
Yes.
Okay, amazing. Spiros, you were going to say
What I wanted to say is that most of us have already some social networking, some
Perfect.
Facebook or some Instagram. Most of us are not very keen on it. I mean, not very specialized or not. We're coming from very small businesses.
Yep.
So I believe that most of us want to discuss how we could move to the next step.
Okay. Okay, perfect. That makes a lot of sense. So we'll talk about that today. Anything else that you want to make sure I cover before I ask you some more questions? No?
Κάνει εισαγωγή. Αυτή τη στιγμή, παιδιά, κάνει μια εισαγωγή και ρώτησε ο άνθρωπος.
Feel free to discuss in brief to see.
Ο άνθρωπος ρώτησε το εξής. Τι κάνετε ο καθένας από.
Συγγνώμη, αν απαντάς σε μένα, εγώ δεν κατάλαβα το θέμα του
Θα το πούμε μετά.
Το Alibaba, είναι για το Alibaba.
Something else. Sorry.
Something επιχείρηση, γι' αυτό είπα πριν εγώ.
Ο άνθρωπος ήθελε να δει βασικά μέχρι στιγμής το δικό μας επίπεδο. Έτσι. Και περίπου σε τι επίπεδο θα πρέπει να κινηθεί κουβέντα για να αρχίσει να συζητάει. Και γι' αυτό του δώσαμε τώρα μια εικόνα περίπου από 4-5 για να μην ξεκινήσει από το 0. Έτσι. Τώρα από εκεί και πέρα μέσα στην κουβέντα θα πρέπει μεταφράζοντας εγώ να διακόπτει κάποιος έχει απορία. Δηλαδή, θα πρέπει να γυρίσουμε λίγο πιο πίσω, να το συζητήσουμε. Okay. I'm just translating.
Perfect, perfect. I was like, are you going to ask me a question? You're like, okay, perfect. Amazing. So, final time I'll ask before I begin. Is there anything else anyone wants me to make sure that I cover?
Sorry. Σπυρό, θέλω να σας ρωτήσω κάτι, δεν ξέρω και εγώ να το ρωτήσω σε όλους. Απλά να μου πείτε να το πούμε. Sorry.
Don't apologize.
Ωραία. Σκεφτείτε ότι έχουμε δημιουργήσει ένα site, εντάξει. Θέλω να πουλήσουμε ρούχα της Τζοάννα, ωραία. Και θέλω να πω το εξής, να το ρωτήσουμε πώς θα μπορούσαμε να εμφανιστούμε στο Google, στις μηχανές αναζήτησης. Κάτσε, περίμενε εσύ, περίμενε. Αυτό είναι το πιο σημαντικό απ' όλα. Έχουμε καλύψει το social media, το κάναμε προηγουμένως. Δεν ξέρω, Σπύρο, συμφωνείς?
Μπορούμε να το ρωτήσουμε και αυτό.
Ωραία, μπορεί να το ρωτήσεις.
Chris was also wanted to find wanted you to present how we could go up to the Google
Top 5, top 10, top 20.
Top one.
Γενικά όλα τα βήματα που χρειάζονται για να δημιουργήσει ένα ηλεκτρονικό κατάστημα.
all the steps.
How to appear?
Πώς θα προσφέρουμε αυτό.
Great question. Really good.
I think the basic. It's the
Of
basic.
course. I understand. Okay,
Okay.
brilliant.
Yes.
You've just given me my whole presentation. Fantastic,
Of course.
amazing. All right, so I'm gonna do my very best to cover all of those points, from the women's clothing to Amazon, eBay, arbitrage, dropshipping, SEO, everything that you've asked me about. I'll do my best to discuss. So the first question that I have is, what backgrounds with business do you come from? For example, do you have a business background that comes from, we have a lot of experience, Deepak, in manufacturing, so we don't really want to discuss the manufacturing. Or I'd love to learn a little bit about more of the backgrounds. If anyone wants to tell me,
Everybody here is in retail, wholesale,
perfect.
and some services.
Okay.
There's no one in manufacturing.
Okay, perfect. So retail, wholesale, and some services.
Yes.
Yeah.
And is that the retail and wholesale of clothing or lots of things?
No, lots of
Lot of things.
Okay, perfect. So you already have the product, a lot of you, it sounds like, and you're thinking, I don't even want the product.
I have products, but why?
Okay. Perfect. Okay, thank you. Well, welcome, everybody. Thank you for giving me all of the things that you want to get from me. I'll begin by telling you, who I am, why anything that I have to say has to matter, and we'll go from there in terms of answering some of these questions and talking about e-commerce in general. So my name is Deepak Shukla. I run an SEO agency. We predominantly do SEO, and we work with e-commerce business owners. So some of our clients rank and sell much more on Amazon and eBay than they do their own stores. There are a range of businesses that we work with, from, we've got a client in Malaysia, for example. I was speaking to her yesterday. She's a mother. She's just starting her first store. She's like, okay, I have Shopify set up. What do I do? So we have that level of client, and we also have e-commerce business owners that are spending $50,000 a month on ads on Facebook, Google, because they have a product, like a lot of you do, and they're like, right, I want to go from here to here to here.
Sorry, what does SEO means?
Sure. So ranking on Google, specifically ranking on Google. So what I mean by that is one of the things that was asked for is if you have a woman's clothing store and you want to rank for, leggings or t-shirt, women, medium, you would want your store to appear. So that's this area of specialism that we have, but we often end up advising on ad campaigns and helping stores with setup and doing all of these things that we discussed. So that's what I do and our agency does every day, day in, day out.
Let me translate. Ο άνθρωπος αυτός δουλεύει σε μια εταιρεία που πρακτορεύει και βοηθάει όλες τις υπόλοιπες εταιρείες να ανεβούν ψηλά, δηλαδή τους κάνει όλο το υπόβαθρο, όλη την υποστήριξη στο ηλεκτρονικό εμπόριο. Μπορεί να τους υποστηρίξει στο να ανεβούν ψηλά, όπως είπε ο Χρήστος, στην αναζήτηση, μπορεί να τους υποστηρίξει σε όλο το πράγμα από το 0 μέχρι το τέλος, στο πώς θα κάνουν το site, το e-shop κλπ. Μου λέει ότι έχουμε μικρούς πελάτες, δηλαδή από μια κυρία που είναι στη Μαλαισία έχει ένα μικρό κατάστημα, μέχρι αυτούς που δίνουν 50.000 το μήνα για να την όλη διαφημιστική του καμπάνια. Άρα λοιπόν έχει μια πολύ μεγάλη range, μια μεγάλη απόσταση, γκάμα ας πούμε ακριβώς πελατών και ακριβώς κάνει αυτή την υποστήριξη στην ηλεκτρονική πώληση. Okay.
So, can I ask you something? So you also provide the appropriate categories. I mean, if you have a shop, just how to make the categories or what pictures or photographs and how you should do that.
Yeah, okay, so it's a great question.
Yeah, because, for example, I have a jewelry shop and I don't really know how I have to put them. I mean, watches or jewelry, or then you have to put bracelets or rings, or how can you make something to be nice and not, too many categories and then, the client to be confused and not to know what to do. Or how can you put a photograph or picture that it would be nice for somebody to buy?
Okay, fantastic. It's a great question. So we will tackle this really in what I'd say 3 phases. So the first phase that we're going to talk about is what I call mindset. The second phase that we're going to talk about is going to be marketing, right? And the third phase is product. So we're going to talk about mindset, marketing, and product. So MMP. And within that, we'll discuss all of the questions that have been raised.
Ωραία, λέει ότι χωρίζει όλη τη δομή σε 3 κομμάτια. Το πρώτο το λέει mindset, δηλαδή να αποφασίσεις τι ακριβώς θα κάνεις. Το 2 είναι το marketing, δηλαδή να αποφασίσεις πώς θα το εμπορευματοποιήσεις, πώς θα κάνεις την προώθηση του εμπορεύματος. Και τρίτο είναι να ξεκινήσεις στο κέρδος του κάθε προϊόν ξεχωριστά.
You should be up here with me.
No, I prefer backstage.
Marketing και διάλογο τελευταίο και ήταν.
Product.
So, the first thing that I've seen from the e-commerce business owners that have gone on to become very successful and have started with no history in e-commerce, maybe they've got some understanding of marketing, maybe they've got some understanding of drop shipping, maybe product, maybe sometimes nothing. The one thing that I've seen that is consistent across all of them, absolutely all of them, is that they're happy to make things break on the internet. So what do I mean by that? And what am I talking about? So what I've seen that's consistent, and I think that for me it's the biggest and most important thing, if you were to leave today, you've got another week and a half, you've got another week, you're going to have a lot more training. If I was to leave you with one message, it really would be that you will have 101 ideas all by yourself. It's nothing to do with me. The people that I've seen that in e-commerce that become really successful try something new that they read about on Google every day. They're like, okay, I've read this about Instagram. I'm going to try it. I've read this about Pinterest. I'm going to try it. I've read this about dropshipping. I'm going to try it and see what happens. And what's really interesting about that process is the step from thinking about something, right? You're thinking about setting up your online store. You're like, I've got my Facebook, I've got my Instagram, I'm thinking about setting up a shop. How long have you been thinking of? What's your name again?
Joanna.
Joanna. Joanna, hello. Hi. How long have you been thinking about?
2 years.
Perfect. Okay, so this is perfect. So, what I would say to you, the one thing, the most important thing, is what stops you from setting up your Shopify store tomorrow?
What's stopping me? Still, I don't know how to organize and how it's going to work.
Let me translate αυτό που είπε ο άνθρωπος είναι το εξής, ότι το μόνο κοινό χαρακτηριστικό που έχουν όλοι μέχρι τώρα είναι ότι όλοι θέλουν να διαλύσουν και να είναι πάρα πολύ καλοί σε αυτό που κάνουν στο ίντερνετ, έτσι. Και συνήθως όλοι λένε το εξής, ότι έχω λίγο Facebook, έχω λίγο Instagram, βλέπουν κάτι ωραίο στο Instagram, βλέπουν κάτι ωραίο στο Facebook, θέλω να το κάνω κι εγώ. Δηλαδή θέλω να ακολουθήσουν τη μόδα ή αυτό που βλέπουν στο δίπλα που είναι επιτυχημένο. Όμως, από εκεί ή με το να έχουν μια μικρή ιδέα μέχρι να την εφαρμόζουν και να είναι επιτυχημένοι, υπάρχει μια πολύ μεγάλη απόσταση. Και έρχεται και ρωτάει τώρα την Τζοάννα, εσύ λες ότι έχεις Facebook και θέλεις να κάνεις ένα e-shop. Πόσο καιρό έχεις που το σκέφτεσαι αυτό? Λέει 2 χρόνια, Τζοάννα. Τι σε σταματάει από το να το κάνεις?
Thank you. And this is a brilliant example. I'll talk to you maybe about Facebook. The Facebook algorithm in 6 months will change. I'll talk to you about Instagram. The algorithm changes. About SEO, everything is always changing, right? So any advice, broadly, has something of a lifeline. What worked today, we know, you know from your own businesses, doesn't always work in 2 years. It works for as long as it works, and then everything changes. So the most important thing is to always make sure that your mindset and your approach to testing, to trying, is as fast as the market. So it's been 2 years. A Shopify site costs $29 a month to start. It takes 7 minutes to open a shop. We do it very often with clients. Do you? So, do you have 7 minutes? It's your first time. Do you have 20 minutes in the next week? Perfect. You have 20 minutes? Amazing. So, what I've seen from all of the people that end up, they don't know how to, they're like, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do this, but I'm going to try. I'll give this a go. I'll give that a go. I'll try this. I'll try that. And what often ends up happening is that they go from thinking to doing instantly. Does that make sense? And that's the one biggest thing that I've seen across every business owner that starts making a lot of money or a lot of success very fast. They say, I don't know how to do this. To hell with it. I'm going to try and see what happens. Because nothing really will go wrong. Your Shopify store, maybe it breaks. Maybe this doesn't work. Maybe that doesn't work. And then you go back and then you learn. So imagine if you changed that process, that one little thing. That one little thing would probably, in 3 months from now, change your business. And that's, and does anyone else here have a similar issue, like going from thinking to doing? Do you want to?
Let me translate. Καταγγείλει ότι φυσικά η διαδρομή από τη σκέψη στην πράξη πάντα για πάρα πολύ κόσμο αργεί. Λέει ότι αυτός χρεώνει 29 λίρες το μήνα για τη βοήθεια, το λιγότερο, για να ξεκινήσει τη ιστοσελίδα και χρειάζεται, λέει, για κάποιον που το ξέρει, 7 λεπτά. Γιατί η χρειά είναι 20 λεπτά. Άρα στην ουσία λέει ότι η σκέψη της καθυστέρησης στην ουσία δεν ισχύει. Είναι μόνο στο μυαλό μας και πουθενά αλλού. Και απλά ρωτάει αν υπάρχει κάποιος άλλος που είναι σαν την Τζοάννα, προφανώς υπάρχει και πολλοί άλλοι ακόμα. Everybody, actually.
Anyone else have a?
Of course.
I create a online shop without selling, only information.
Okay, fantastic.
Okay, in 20 minutes. And it's 5 or 6 pages.
Perfect. Well done.
But after,
same thing. What do I do? Google. Oh, Google said this. Oh, okay, I'll try it. Google. Really, this is, and you're gonna have questions. Well, this said this said that. I need to pick up my kids. I need to make dinner. I need to get ready for dinner. I need to go out. I need to do this, and then it ends up being the life or stuff that you do gets in the way of you being able to Google. And honestly, it's very, very simple to say. Of course, I don't think that what I'm saying is new. I don't think that what I'm saying is something that you don't know. But the act of actually doing it is hard. It's hard, of course. It's the difference between everything. Going from thinking to doing, and it's not easy, right? I get it. I have same issues in lots of areas of my life. And the goal really is if this is 2 years, you need to, and this is doing. This is thinking, right? Google, Instagram, SEO, e-commerce, Amazon Pay, Google, eBay, dropshipping, is to slowly, over time, just start doing this. This is the most powerful thing that I've seen from all of the business owners. It's the approach that they have to execution. I'm going to learn today, because then I will try tomorrow. Today, tomorrow. Really, it's the number one biggest thing. I think did you have a question?
no.
Okay, fantastic. And so, what I would love to hear now, I know that, what's your name? Mariana, okay, lovely name. Mariana, what do you think is stopping, and everyone has something in their head, right? Maybe you're thinking, Deepak, this is not what I want to hear, or Deepak, but I have lots of things going on, or Deepak, this is happening, or this is happening. So I'd love to hear, what do you think is stopping you from taking the action today? What has stopped you from learning and then trying something?
I really didn't know how to do it, and I wasn't very sure if this is value for money. I do it, and then people would react to that, and I will expand it or something like that.
Okay.
I said I may do something and it's not that good, so no one buys, or
Yep.
it was better before, or it doesn't have such a good profile or picture, because it's a shop anyway for the public. So if you don't have a good e-shop, maybe that ruins the other picture that you have.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, I think that, so it has to be something right and perfect.
Okay. Right and perfect. They're such fabulous words, aren't they? They're like the best and the worst words ever, right? My partner, we live not too far away. We're setting up a Pilates studio. Daniela, her name is, and we're setting up a studio. We have our little cat, it runs around the place, she's got the machine, and she's starting to make the flyers. And those two words, they come up every day in our conversations. I say, you made a flyer. Let's print it. Let's go. She's like, no, it's not
right and perfect
right now. I say, let's order this Pilates ring. And she says,
details.
Yeah. Then I say, you have a t-shirt. Let's set up the online shop. And then she'll say, but it's not
right and perfect.
Does everyone understand how that is the biggest problem. We're going to talk about strategies, we're going to talk about tactics, but these two words,
You judge things from details. That's the thing.
that sounds a lot like right and perfect
Yeah.
again, doesn't it? Yeah. Everyone, including me, in some areas of your life, we have what I call the right and perfect problem. But Deepak, it's not right. Deepak, it's not perfect. So I can't launch it because what if this happens? What if that happens? Oh, that is so not right. That is so not perfect. We can't do that today. And then all of a sudden, how many years have passed?
2 years.
And what has happened? It's still not.
Right and perfect.
Wow.
Such a pessimistic perspective.
Absolutely. And thank you for being honest,
Yeah.
by the way. Because does anyone else have a right and perfect problem? In any area of your life, do you have a Deepak, it's not right yet, so I can't start? Anyone? Okay, cool. Whoever isn't nodding, you're a liar. But it's okay. Okay, perfect. And it's really, really interesting, and it's why I wanted to talk about mindset first. Because everyone, you maybe have read a blog about 7 steps to become more motivational, or 19 steps to do this, and you're like, okay, blah, 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 blah. I read all of this. Some of you, it looks like you have seen some of these blog posts, right?
Yes.
Absolutely. We probably all, as business owners, probably read a couple of these blog posts because it's what we should do. We should learn, we should come, we should sit in seminars, we should take lots of notes, we should go home, and then it's still not.
Right and perfect.
Okay, brilliant. And that and those 2 words, as I said, are probably the most powerful and problematic words that I've ever encountered. And they're also words that we need to really think about trying to remove from our vocabulary. Remove them, right? Because actually, nothing's ever really going to be right and perfect, right? I have a pink tripod.
We've noticed.
I bought it from Poundland.
Cost me £1.
Oh, so
It's probably not,
right and perfect.
but it didn't take me
2 years.
to buy it. And the end result will be that I have a video.
Value for money.
Exactly. And it's incredible, right? I see some guys, Hadel, Israeli guy, 24 years old, one of our clients. Do you want to translate? Okay, perfect. Feel free to interrupt me. 24 years old, still lives with his mum, hired us as a client. I was like, oh, he's like, hey dude. I'm like, hey dude. He's like, oh, I have this shop. I was like, how is it going? He said, well, Amazon Pay is not, it's actually broken right now. He said, we have an issue with shipping. It's not right and perfect. We have another problem with Google not indexing something, and it's another problem. I said, oh, sounds really bad. He said, yeah, lots of problems. Harel's also 24 years old, and he took his store from 0 to 750,000 euros in 7 months.
Selling what?
He sells jackets with pictures of bears and wolves.
Really?
I think they look really ugly.
How did you do that?
Είναι ένας τύπος που
Really?
That's what I asked him. And then, you know what I did? I sat there with my notes and I was like, okay, this is the answer. I wrote it all. I went home, I looked at my store, I looked at my shop, and then I thought, but it's not quite.
Ο τύπος αυτός έκανε σε 7 μήνες ένα e-shop το οποίο έχει τζάκετ με λύκους και αρκούδες και έκανε τζίρο 750.000 ευρώ.
Σε 7 μήνες. Σε 7 μήνες.
24 χρονών. Έτσι. Αυτός είναι πελάτης της εταιρείας του προφανώς και του το στείλουν και του λέει πως πας, έχουμε προβλήματα λες παράδοση, έχουμε προβλήματα από εδώ, έχουμε προβλήματα. Αλλά στην ουσία έκανε 750.000 ευρώ.
I'm thinking to start the jackets with the beards.
Absolutely. I agree, Joanna.
Someone tell me to go to Etsy. Etsy.com.
Yeah.
Right?
Etsy.
Etsy.com.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, they have 53 million customers.
Okay.
But I go inside and I see the stores one by one, and some stores sell,
Διαχειροποιείται αυτό.
and the most of stores not sell.
Yeah, absolutely. Most of the things that we try won't work. Right? Most of the shops that you build will fail the first time. How many people have children here? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we got four. Is there more? Okay, so let's say there's several people. How many? Put your hand up. How many of you have more than one child here? Okay, perfect. Okay, so I don't have any children, but I have 9 nieces and nephews. Right? Yeah, Indian, right? Lots of children. Lots of children. Same as the Greeks, same as the Italians. So I definitely know that the way I babysit my 3rd nephew is better than the way that I babysit my 1st. Would you say that your parenting skills have become better the 2nd time around? Are you a better parent, would you say? He's like, no.
Do girls have 9 months, 12 months of difference, so it's not so...
Okay.
But still.
Probably...
Absolutely. Yeah. So you made a really good point that I went onto Etsy. There's all these stores. No one's making any money. You know what happened? They probably tried once, had a horrible experience, and then probably never tried again because the first time it wasn't right and perfect.
It's one woman in Etsy to sell small rocks from the sea, and they have sell 22,000 rocks.
Amazing. Perfect example of someone who didn't care about anything. She was like, I'll sell rocks, I'll sell anything.
Το Etsy που λέει ο Γιώργος είναι μια πλατφόρμα η οποία πουλάει κυρίως χειροποίητα αντικείμενα. Κυρίως είναι χειροποίητα πάντως, έτσι, και η οποία δουλεύει αρκετά. Είναι δηλαδή το eBay και το Amazon των χειροποίητων, το Articraft, ας πούμε, κατά κάποιο τρόπο.
Everyone's now thinking rocks, trees, branches, concrete, lamps. Lots of ideas. It's brilliant. And Harel, to go back to our Israeli friend, the magical Harel, I said, oh wow, so is this your first store? He was like, no, I tried 4 times. The first 4 stores failed. The first time I thought, I read up how to do the Google, I read up about dropshipping, everything on paper was right and perfect. And then I went out, I tried, and nothing worked. He said, I spent 2 years trying. And for those first 2 years, I thought that everything should be right and perfect, and then I discovered actually what matters more. And this is the probably second part of what relates to mindset. What mattered more was just doing things. His first store took 2 years to create. He thought it was right and perfect when he created it. He said, I've done all the research, I went onto Amazon reviews, I did the Google reviews, I made the measurements, I did everything. This is going to be a success. Nothing worked. Right? Nothing worked. The second store took 4 months. Still did some research, but you learn, you get better. Exactly.
Experience.
I can research even better this time. I can do this better. I already have a supplier from Greece, from the Philippines, from China, from England. His third store, when we met, 3 weeks. He decided, today, okay, I'll try. It took him 3 weeks to start selling his first product. Within a month, everything kind of did this. And what changed? He just started doing things. He really just started doing things. Does that make sense for anybody?
Like what?
Αυτός είπε ότι, συγγνώμη να μεταφράσω, λέει Γιώργο, αυτός ο άνθρωπος που μας έχει κάνει σαν παράδειγμα 24χρονος έκανε το πρώτο του site σε 2 χρόνια, το οποίο έκανε την καλύτερη έρευνα αγοράς και το οποίο πήγε άπατο. Το δεύτερο το έκανε σε 3-4 μήνες, έτσι, το οποίο πάλι έκανε έρευνα αγοράς και πάλι πήγε άπατο, και το τελευταίο το έλυσε σε 3 εβδομάδες και το οποίο πήγε καλύτερα. Πήγε, δηλαδή άρχισε να ανεβαίνει. Τώρα βέβαια έχει να κάνει και με την ιδέα, αλλά στην ουσία λέει ότι δεν χρειάζεται πια να περιμένει να το κάνει τέλειο. Όλη η κουβέντα μέχρι στιγμής έχει επικεντρωθεί ότι δεν χρειάζεται να γίνει τέλειο κάτι, αλλά ξεκίνα και το διορθώνει στην πορεία.
He's doer. He's doer.
A doer.
Doer.
I love that. Like, good word. Good word.
Very good.
Doer.
Sorry, via Shopify, this? Via Shopify platform, really?
Yep. All Shopify.
Okay.
It sounds like something's happened there. You're like, ah.
Blow my mind.
Yeah.
You said at that time they doing things. What they doing?
He absolutely. He just did stuff. Actions. So
Like?
it's good question. I'm glad he asked that question. That sounds a lot like a what was the strategy, Deepak? I want the exact roadmap and I'm gonna copy it. And it's gonna work. I'm gonna follow. He said, give me the PDF. Give me the PowerPoint. Give me the slides. I want the slides. I want them. It's a good question. It's a good question, right? Because when we're worried, when we're not sure, we kind of will do the same thing, don't we? Here's a piece of furniture. So me and my girlfriend, right, Daniela, we're starting the Pilates studio, right? And I'm useless at DIY. If it's the internet, I'm the man. I'm really gonna know what I'm doing. If it's DIY, I'm like, let's call someone. Let's call someone. So when I'm worried, she buys a piece of furniture. We bought like a sofa, for the studio, so people can sit down. They do their studio, they do Pilates. So we walk in. I sit there, and I'm like, here's the instruction manual. I sit there for like 30 minutes. I'm like, okay, there's that part. Okay, I think I got it. She's there. Okay. Well, no, that doesn't work. Okay, now we'll try that. Okay, perfect. I think that works. Okay. Hold on. Okay. Boom. There you go. There's a sofa. And I'm like, oh wow. This is the wrong manual. What's your manual? Tell me. I will copy that. Anyone have the same experience? Yeah. I do. Absolutely. And this desk, funny looking desk, very funny looking sofa, this is what Harel's store looks like. The Amazon page doesn't work. One of the pages is broken. He's making 60,000 euros a month. Right? Because that's what growth looks like. He didn't have a strategy. He was just, begins with D.
Doer.
What was he? A doer.
Doer.
Absolutely. And that is what's on the other side of right and perfect. We all have some right and perfect in this room, right? When it comes to furniture, I'm right and perfect. I'm right and perfect, and I'm useless. So I'm uselessly right and perfect. And then you have some people, like Daniela, like Harel, who are doers. So I don't know the answer, but I will try and find and do things. So you ask me, what's the strategy? It's a great question. His strategy, I promise you, will not work for your shop and your store. And the strategy that you need to become successful, even I don't know. Even I don't know.
Strategy is different in every shop.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's different always for everybody at all times.
And nothing, it's work all the time. In a few months maybe you don't sell.
Absolutely. Everything always changes. Everything always changes. What worked for feeding your children vegetables today will not work tomorrow. They're like, Joanna, I know what you're trying to do. I know what you're trying to do. I don't want to do that. I need to try something different. I need to try something tomorrow that I'm not doing today. And we already do it, right? In some areas of your life, you're already probably doing this. You're like, Deepak, I do that. I do that. And isn't it incredible when it's something that we're not sure about, something that we're worried about, then we start having that right and perfect moment. We start all having that right and perfect moment, and we wait 2 years for something that can take 29 minutes. So wow, it was all in here, instead of being out there. Does that make sense for everybody?
Yes.
Okay. Amazing. Good.
We live from here, without PDF.
Good question. Good question. Exactly. And if you leave without a PDF, then I know that you're doing really, really well. Because the PDF will not make you successful. Never. 100% of the time. I've never ever seen someone who's ever said, the key to my success was Deepak's PDF. It was Deepak's PDF. No one's ever said that. And I'm sure the story has been the same for you. I'm sure not a single one of you read an instruction manual when you needed to feed your child, when you needed to take your dog for a walk in the park. You think, okay, I'll just take the dog out the door and I see what happens. Okay, I'm trying to give it milk. I don't know, let's try something different. It's that mindset, that approach that you already have in your lives. You already all do it. Everyone's already got this power. 100%, I know that you already do this. Take that and start applying it to this. Heck, apply it to every part of your life. Everywhere, everything. Because it's really the biggest thing that I still am blown away by when, I'm so thankful to meet these young people. Harel's 24. He's younger than I am, but he has a way of seeing things that's so mature. He's like, I don't know, but I'll try. This doesn't work, that doesn't work. Deepak, let's try it together. Okay, it didn't work. Doesn't matter, let's try again. And that with Amazon, eBay, Alibaba, AliExpress, SEO, your woman's store, your store that I forgot about. I'm so sorry. You're important to me. That's what's going to make everyone successful, right? It's going to really make everyone successful. And it's the simplest thing to understand, but it's probably the hardest thing to do. Because then we go back and it starts happening again. Okay, Deepak, I'm really motivated. I'm excited. I'm going to change things. And then tomorrow, oh, okay, so I need to do this. Oh, okay, that happens. Oh, okay, but it's not right and perfect. And we kind of start going back into what we're comfortable with. Because doing things that we don't know is always scary, isn't it? It's just scary.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, you guys, everyone came here to get the answer from me. To be like, I'm going to learn today, 3 months, 100,000 euros. Who had that idea in their head? Who had that idea? Did anyone have that idea that you'd get the answer that you were looking for today? Oh wow, okay. All right. Everyone was like, no, not you, Deepak. Perfect. Spiros, do you want to maybe translate for everyone?
Στην ουσία ο Deepak λέει ότι θα πρέπει να μπούμε στη διαδικασία του να φτιάξουμε και να μην περιμένουμε, έτσι, και να διαμορφώσουμε στην πράξη, στην πορεία μάλλον, την προσπάθειά μας, έτσι, και να μην περιμένουμε να κάνουμε το τέλειο από εξ αρχής. Δεν υπάρχει βέβαια κανόνας για κανέναν. Δηλαδή αυτό ότι είναι καλό για σένα είναι χάλια για μένα και ότι είναι καλό για μένα είναι χάλια για σένα.
Θέλω να ρωτήσω εγώ κάτι που θέλω. Ξεκινάς σε ένα ηλεκτρονικό κατάστημα.
Να πω κάτι.
Και δεν το κάνεις σωστά.
Ναι, σου λέει το
ωραία,
περίμενα,
όχι, άλλο θέλω να καταλήξω. Και παίρνεις κακές κριτικές. Πώς το διορθώνεις αυτό, πώς σώζονται μετά?
Θα προτείνω κάτι, επειδή έχουμε κάνει μια ώρα εισαγωγή και βλέπω ότι δεν παίρνουν στην ουσία. Δεν ξέρω τι θα κάνει. Ας το αφήσουμε χωρίς ερωτήσεις, να δούμε τι θα προχωρήσει παρακάτω και βλέποντας τι κάνοντας.
Η ουσία είναι ότι ξεκινήσετε κάτι.
Γι' αυτό αυτή που έκανε εγώ ερώτηση...
Θέλω να το πάμε σε ερώτηση στο επόμενο βίντεο.
Θα μας πάει αυτός όπου θέλει. Στην κάνει ερώτηση η ελευθερία.
So what I want, this is perfect timing actually. So what I would love everybody to do right now is, you all know each other, right, don't you?
Yeah.
Perfect. So I want you to, for 5 minutes, pair up, and there's 2 questions, and I want, this doesn't work if you aren't honest. If you're like, oh, well, you know, so I want you to leave your egos, your stereotypes, your preconceptions here, and I want you to really engage with this. I want you to sit in pairs, and for 5 minutes, there's 2 questions that you can ask each other. The first question is, so, Joanna, what's your name? Oh, wow. Amazing names. Deepak, what was my mum thinking? So, Anastasia, I want you to turn and say to Joanna, what do you think has been stopping you from doing things? That's the first question. And it's important that you answer honestly. Be honest, right? That's the first question that you can ask. The second question is, okay, amazing. What do you think is the one new thing that you can do tonight, tomorrow? But you've got to set a deadline. You've got to give a day when you do things. So 2 questions I want you to ask to the person next to you. The first question is, what do you think is stopping you from doing things? And the second question is, okay, thank you for sharing that with me. What are you going to do about it? Does that make sense?
It's a lot of things. That you say, it's a lot of things. Because maybe the product is not right, maybe you find, search to find another product.
Good question.
Yeah.
So
Perhaps we need more minutes.
Okay. You're like, Deepak, 5 minutes. Perfect. And I wanted it to be 5 minutes because pick one thing. You can pick more than one thing. It's about what's stopping you. Okay? So what's stopping you and what are you going to do about it? Feel free to interpret my question as you want. Okay? Cool. Alright. We've got 5 minutes. What do you get?
Okay.
To each other or
To each other.
Next to each other. Yeah.
so you must
Is there anyone who doesn't have a partner?
Must make pairs.
Yeah. So, okay. So you two talk to each other. Fantastic. You two talk to each other. Yeah, but no, we're not going to talk. So if everybody can pair up, so Joanna and Anastasia, you two together, you two, Spiros
I will
and...
talk with myself. Okay. Because there are two pairs. Πώς είμαστε εδώ πέρα, 16? Ah, okay, μία είναι
Yeah, perfect. So we've got pairs. Then you two. Is that okay? All right, amazing. So the first question is, what's stopping you? Very simple question.
I don't have the perfect.
So you two pair up. Discuss it.
Μάρας, έχει σημασία. Έχει μπορείς με χρόνο να κάνεις το από πρώτο βήμα.
Be honest, the boys are honest.
Ο φόβος είναι το βασικότερο. Ο φόβος του άκουσου.
So let's make sure that we try and stay on track. Make sure you get the question answered. Because I'm going to ask, what's stopping you?
Θέλω να το κάνω τέτοιο.
Your answer came very quickly. It's like, so then it's the second question, what are you getting to do?
The second one, just impossible is nothing. That's it.
Yeah. That's it. If only I was so lucky. So I'll give it 2 more minutes. 2 more minutes and then I'll ask some people.
Δεν έτσι σταματάει, Δημήτρη.
Δεν πουλήσω κοτόπουλα για πραγματικά.
Σας παιδιά, δεν παίζει έτσι το παιχνίδι.
Το έχουμε πέρα, και το έχουμε
τελειώσατε. Ωραία, άμα τελειώσαμε όλοι.
Έχεις μπει στο eFood.gr.
Να προχωρήσουμε.
Πουλάω και ηλεκτρονικά.
Εντάξει, είπατε εδώ.
Θα έρθει η καρτίνα από τα μπλοκάρια να
Γιατί εμείς τα πάμε. Γιατί το τα πάτησε και όλα αυτά.
If only I
Just
wait for him to come back and then we'll begin.
Δεν βγάζει θέμα.
Εντάξει, δεν είναι αυτό.
Λοιπόν, τι κάνουμε. Περιμένουμε το Χρήστο να γυρίσει από το τουαλέτα για να ξεκινήσει. Αυτό. Μπορεί να καταπολεμήσει.
Κάντε και καμιά μετάφραση.
Όχι, να αρχίσει από σένα που μιλάς πολύ.
I asked him.
1 more minute, and then you can share with me. He's gonna spill all your secrets. Okay, fantastic. Okay, amazing. So for whoever actually did that task, I congratulate you. For whoever didn't do that task, this is probably why you have your problem, because you're not taking the action. So would anyone like to share what they think is stopping them? I know that we've got the right and perfect here. I know that you've answered. Is there anyone else who wants to say anything?
He needs more time because he wants to do right and perfect.
It makes sense. The right and perfect problem. It's like the perfectly right problem that stops us. Okay, so do we have anyone else who had a problem that was different? from Right and Perfect? What's your name?
Katharina.
Katharina.
I don't have a shop, but I don't think that I'm fair about what I have to read. Because nowadays in internet there are a lot of things that are not answered my questions, and I think that it's difficult to find the right sources to read in order to start something like this.
I agree. It's a good problem. So we've got Right and Perfect. We've got so much information.
Yeah.
What's the formula? Okay, because that's kind of the question. There's 10 formulas, but which one is the formula that's going to make me successful? I understand.
Not successful, but give me some steps in order to do things and start issue.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
That makes sense. Spiros, were you going to say something?
Some practical problems we have. Okay. Apart from all this starting the shop, I have tried to sell like in e-commerce, but all of us are small shops in Greece. Okay, sending abroad products from Greece is quite more expensive than sending a product from England or sending a product from Germany. I mean, the courier, the posting expenses from countries like Germany or England are much more lower than the shipment expenses from Greece. Okay. This way they make us less competitive than our people from abroad. Okay?
Perfect. Okay, that makes sense. So, good. Anyone else? We'll come to that. I'll answer that. We've got a perfection problem. We've got a kind of curation problem, like which is the right source to get the information. We've got a technical problem, like there's fees and things that prevent you from really making maybe the profit. You look at the numbers, you're like, this isn't making sense to me. Okay, so we've got the technical, we've got the perfection, we've got the curation. Anyone else have a problem?
Τις κακές πρακτικές που σου είπα, ότι εγώ ας πούμε έχω ξεκινήσει ένα e-shop, το οποίο δεν το έχω βγάλει ακόμα, πώς θα το πω, δεν το έχω βγάλει στο κοινό, γιατί δεν είμαι έτοιμη εγώ, δηλαδή μπορεί εγώ να το βλέπω τέλειο, αλλά φοβάμαι ότι βγαίνοντας θα κάνω λάθη και θα πάρω κακές κριτικές. Οι κακές κριτικές
είναι αυτό που έλεγε η Μαριάννα, είναι ακριβώς το ίδιο πράγμα.
Elveria says that she has her shop ready, but she's afraid that starting it will take many negative reviews, so she's afraid of launching it.
Say that. So she has a store.
No, it's ready, but it's not on air yet. Okay, because she's afraid of the negative reviews she's going to get.
Okay. So that makes sense. So that's like another right and perfect problem, isn't it? So you have a right and perfect problem. You have a curation problem, which is kind of like a right and perfect problem, really, isn't it? Because we don't know which advice is right and perfect. Okay. Well, maybe not. Maybe. Okay, maybe I'm stretching. Okay, perfect. So we've got a launch. We've got the right and perfect. We've got curation. We've got the technical. Any last one? Anyone else have a different problem?
Yes, I have a site.
And we'll come to you after I will answer.
They have a site, tourist office.
Okay.
Site about the construction with the rooms.
Okay.
Yes.
And my problem is that there's a lot of enhancements it says
Searching
machines, such as Expedia, Booking, and other hotels.com.
A lot of competition.
Yes, and if you Google Mandravelos Hotel Aliveri, for example, or hotels in Aliveri in my area, it maybe find my site in 4 or 5 pages, not at first, and the research is specific, very area, not the area general.
Okay.
I have a problem with this company.
So you have a marketing problem.
Yes. I mean, I have a conversation with Russia. Cooperation with the booking and Expedia. But if I want to have a deal, a personal deal, I can't find the way to present in my customers.
Okay.
Εσύ δεν βάζεις AdWords.
Βάζω.
Βγαίνεις ψηλά στο συγκεκριμένο.
Ναι, άλλο πρέπει να πληρώνω κάθε φορά.
Okay, fantastic. It's good that you recognize what your problem is, which means it's a case of working out what a solution might be. Good problem. And we'll take the last one. I think you.
Another problem is the cost. To build a shop or to
operate.
To operate.
The cost of operation and building.
You must pay to have your shop up.
High. Yeah.
The ranking. The ranking is the highest.
Absolutely. Okay. Good question. So you've got an operation. You've got a cost problem. Okay. That makes sense. Okay. Amazing. So it sounds like everybody's got really big problems. That means.
Okay. Bye.
Okay. Bye. I'm going home. Okay. Fantastic. All right. Okay. Amazing. So of course, and we'll find out if anyone answered it or we'll answer it now. Let's go through the same people and let's talk about what is going to be the next action that you think will help you with your own problem, right? Because it's not like I have the perfect solution that will fix your problem tomorrow. You know that, and I know that you know that. So who wants to begin? We had the curation problem, the problem of the information. What do you think is one action that you could do to change that tomorrow?
Yes, I think that I have to read more different sources and start think about what is more important or not.
Okay, so you want to look for more curation?
Maybe.
Okay. Do you think that
or
would
start this shop?
Okay. That's a really powerful word. Start the e-shop, right? Because if you start the e-shop, that will take you to the next problem. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So starting the e-shop, I think, would help your curation problem because you started. Okay, you no longer have to Google how to set up an e-store, how to set up. Your next problem is how to list my product. Does that make sense? So starting is probably scary, but that's the solution, and it's a good solution. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Do you think that you'll start?
Maybe.
Okay.
No,
it's okay.
At that time I don't have a shop, so I would not start now because I'm studying.
Okay.
In university, so I don't have.
Okay.
I start for the
Okay, there you go. And there's no reason why you can't help each other.
Support.
And I would say that if you want to start, you can, because it's still experience, it's still practice. You have a store with no products, don't you? You have 4 or 5 pages, you were saying. Yeah. So you can start, right? You're at university is kind of out there.
Yeah.
It doesn't stop you from starting a shop.
Yeah.
Doesn't. Harrell, for the first 2 months of his store, had a full-time job. And he lived at home with his mum, he had a full-time job, but he was working 10-hour days when he started. So you can definitely start. But fantastic. Starting, I think, is fantastic. Okay, so let's go to Miss Right and Perfect. You look perfect today. It's a beautiful thing. What is your action that you think you'll take?
I guess I will start.
What does What does that mean?
What does that mean?
And everyone's got their own version of an action, right? So when she answers, I want you to... There's no use saying, I'm going to go home tomorrow and Google something. It's useless. I mean, it's part... You need to take an actual, real action, right? A real action. Whether that means looking at finding a different method of shipping, whether that means... Whatever the action is, one action will lead to another. So when you answer, and how you answer, I really want it to be clear, and I'm sure you know this anyway, clear, specific, and real, right? A real action. So please go ahead. She's like, oh yeah.
Okay, I don't know.
Does someone want to help her?
That's the reason she came here, to you.
In the first place.
She's like, Deepak, you're not doing your job.
I guess I need a platform or something, you know, to start.
Platform?
Yeah, something. To start doing it.
So I think that what's
Or
good...
also advice how to make, as I said before, the categories or how to take the photographs, something.
Okay, perfect. So it's good at least that you recognize there's a problem, which is the right and perfect. And any one of those actions, trying a category, trying to take your photograph, is a good example of an action. So do you think you could do one of those actions? Do you think you could maybe try and photograph your products themselves?
Me?
Yeah.
Yes, but...
Look what I'm recording with.
Yeah, I know. Hopefully the result will be okay. I don't have a camera that it's needed, I guess, but...
You can use whatever you want in the beginning. The important thing is the action. That's the important thing. So well done, great. You're probably thinking I'm not going to do that ever. Okay, so...
Sorry, Deepak, in which platform is the best platform? Or your opinion, on which platform can we start any show?
It's a good question. And I sense that there's some of you...
I have WebNote. WebNote, I have.
You use WebNote? Okay, perfect. So WebNote. I know that there's some of you that are probably waiting to get to the specific technical marketing strategy part, and we're going to come to that. I will answer that question, because as with everything in life, it depends.
Yes, of course.
But we'll answer that.
Your opinion about our product?
Absolutely. It's a good question. Okay, so we had some more people that had other problems. You had a problem, didn't you? I forget what it was.
I said about two problems. The first problem, Yannis for me. Two problems.
The cost.
The first problem, sorry, no. The first problem I said
operation, okay.
Was
I got it.
to do some perfect. And
right, okay.
The second problem is the cost. And I realized that there are platforms free to make my e-shop, but did they work correct?
Okay, it's a good problem. It's the right and perfect problem that stops you from taking maybe the action. What is the action that you think that you can do to maybe change that, like tomorrow? What could you do tomorrow?
Yes. First, to begin without have the right and perfect in my mind. Just begin.
Yeah.
The second, to